All right, welcome to our third day of videos. Still going over World War I and the causes and what led up to this massive World War, or Great War as they were calling it back then. But we talked about some long-term causes, main causes, militarism. That's when all these countries are building up their militaries. Alliances we've talked about. Otto von Bismarck started the alliance system trying to make sure Germany had a bunch of friends and France had no friends. Imperialism, that we've been talking about that for a few weeks now, going out and colonizing and taking over land. Countries competing for colonies could certainly lead to tension. And then nationalism, the belief that your nation or your country is the best and you have all this pride in your country. Specifically with the nationalism, you have it not only all over Europe, but especially in this peninsula called the Balkan Peninsula, and it had been controlled by the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire was getting weaker, and now you start seeing new nations wanting freedom and independence, such as like Serbia and Bulgaria and some of these places. So you had all this nationalism between the nationalities, and that certainly could lead to tension in the Balkans. To make matters worse, you have like Russia wanting to come down and take over or have a lot of influence in the Balkans. And then you also have Austria-Hungary. So you have these two kind of world powers making the situation even more intense. Okay, so this is all happening in the Balkans. Now, Austria-Hungary is going to come down into the Balkans and get a place called Bosnia. All right, and this made another Balkan group, Serbia, mad. So Serbia was mad at Austria-Hungary for taking over Bosnia. Well, the Austrian future leader named Archduke Franz Ferdinand was visiting Bosnia on a parade, and a Serbian assassinated him and his lovely wife Sophie. And that's the event in July of 1914 that's going to get this whole thing started. So I have the two rival teams here. The Triple Alliance would be Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. And the Triple Entente would be France and Russia and Great Britain. And I put Serbia, I don't know if you can see that very well, but I put Serbia right under Austria. Russia is kind of like the big brother protector sort of Serbia. So if Serbia gets in trouble, Russia is definitely going to be there to have its back. Okay, so these are the two alliance systems. Now, who over here is mad at whom over here? So who got their leader assassinated? That would be Austria-Hungary. So who are they mad at? That'd be Serbia. Okay, so they're going to tell Serbia they have to do all these things, all these ultimatums, and they're deliberately harsh on purpose. Austria-Hungary doesn't want Serbia to be able to comply with these ultimatums because they want to have another reason to invade. So it would be like me telling my son, jump up on top of the roof or you're grounded for 3 weeks. Well, there's no way he can jump up on top of the roof. I made it like that on purpose because I want to ground him for 3 weeks. So that's kind of what they're doing to Serbia here. Serbia tries its best to meet all of these really harsh demands, but they're not going to be able to. So the first declaration of war is going to be Austria-Hungary declaring war on Serbia. So I'm going to draw some arrows. Okay, and then I'm going to put DW, which means declares war. So that was the first declaration of war. Okay, so again, it's because Serbia assassinated Austria's leader, and then they failed to meet all the demands that Austria had placed on them. So who has Serbia's back? That's right, Russia. So Russia starts getting ready. They start mobilizing their army and getting ready to go fight Austria. Okay, Austria is picking on their friend Serbia, so they are getting ready to go fight Austria. And by the way, our USS is Russia, that's Austria-Hungary, Germ is Germany, France, Belge is Belgium, and then GB is Great Britain. This is not a perfect map by any means, but you'll get kind of the idea of what's going on here. Now, because of these alliances, Russia knows that if they fight Austria-Hungary, who else are they going to have to get ready to fight? Germany, right? So now they start getting ready to fight Germany. Now, from a German standpoint, what have they done to Russia? Nothing. And then Russia's getting all up in their face. So, if you're just walking down the street and somebody comes up to you and gets all up in your face and you haven't done anything to provoke it, you are assuming this dude wants to fight or whatever. So that's what Germany is assuming right now. You're getting up in our face and we haven't done anything to you yet. So Germany does not take kindly to that. So Germany is going to then declare war on Russia. And this is kind of small and maybe hard to read, but so Germany knows, because of these alliances, if you declare war on Russia, you might as well do what? Declare war on their buddy over here. So they're also going to declare war on France. So we got Austria declaring war on Serbia, Germany declaring war on Russia, and then Germany declaring war on France as well. Okay? So you have all these declarations of war. All right? Now, a couple things here. Germany has found itself in a precarious situation. Over here, they're having to fight against Russia, and now over here, they are going to have to fight against France. So what do you notice about that? Germany's having to fight a war on two different fronts. So we call this a two-front war. All right? And this is not an ideal situation. Imagine, I know y'all don't get in fights in real life, but imagine if you were in a fight with somebody on this side of you and somebody on that side of you, you'd be fighting two people at one time. That would make it incredibly challenging. And same thing in a war. When you're Germany now and you have a two-front war, it's going to be very, very challenging. All right? So, Germany is not going to go straight at France. They are going to try to take France by surprise. So, they actually sneak up through Belgium and invade that way. Well, Belgium is a neutral country and very close to Great Britain. They're pretty close allies. So Great Britain now is mad that Germany is basically invading Belgium, their close ally and neighbor. And this is when Great Britain gets in and declares war on Germany. So those are all the declarations of war. I know it might be hard to see up there, but it's definitely this side doing most of the declarations. Austria declared war, Germany declared war, Germany declared war. So it certainly seems like the Triple Alliance is kind of, I don't know if I'd say starting this war, but they're certainly not trying to stop it. Like they're declaring war like crazy. Only one team over here declared war. One country. All the declarations of war came from the Triple Alliance side. Now, Italy, these alliances were defensive alliances. Hey, if you get attacked, we will come and help you. But it looks like this side is not getting attacked. It looks like this side is doing the attacking. So Italy says, this is not what we signed up for. So Italy's actually going to drop off this side over here, okay? And believe it or not, they are going to end up being talked into joining this team over here. All right? So, let me rewrite these lists really quickly. Erase kind of all this extra writing. All right. So once the war actually starts, the Triple Alliance becomes known as the Central Powers, because most of these countries on this team were in the central part of Europe, or the middle of Europe. Okay? So Germany, Austria-Hungary, okay? And then we're going to add the Ottoman Empire to this list. There were others, but those are the three main ones. Now, the Triple Entente, they become known as the Allied Powers. So you have France, Great Britain, Italy, and Russia. Okay? America is still not in it, but we will be but not yet. So the Central Powers, from our standpoint, are the bad guys. The Allied powers, from our standpoint, are going to be the good guys. Okay? And if you were paying any attention at all, it's pretty obvious the Central Powers seem to be kind of starting or egging this war on. They're certainly not trying to keep the peace. They started declaring war on everybody. So let me say one more thing, and then we will call it quits for today. Okay, so Germany is fighting this two-front war. So they come up with a plan to fight a two-front war. And it's the guy who came up with its last name was Schlieffen, or Schleifen. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but we call it the Schlieffen Plan. And basically, here's the belief. They think France is going to be really weak. They fought them in a war not too long ago. It was called the Franco-Prussian War, and they beat the brakes off of them. So they're assuming France is going to be really weak again. So the plan is to attack France as quickly as possible, defeat them, get them out of the picture, and then go and attack Russia before they can get ready to fight. So, two-front war, attack France first because they were weaker and should be easier to defeat, and then come over here and attack Russia because they should be slow. They're going to be big and strong, but they don't have a lot of railroads yet or a lot of factories yet. They're going to be a big, strong army, but they're going to be a slow army. So let's knock France out first and then be able to focus on Russia. So that was the Schlieffen Plan, all right? It's not going to work because France was a little bit stronger than they had hoped, and Russia is going to be a lot faster and more mobile than they had hoped. So the idea behind it was a good idea. It's just not going to work for Germany. All right, last thing, and I promise I'm done. So this is what you would call a battlefront, and this is also going to be a battlefront. So if you're Germany, this is on your west side, and this is on your east side. So in World War I, we call this front over here the Western Front. You've probably heard of that maybe. There's a pretty famous novel from back in the day, All's Quiet on the Western Front. But yeah, this is the Western Front. This is the Eastern Front. We're going to spend most of our time on the Western Front, but there were some pretty important battles on the Eastern Front. But in this class and on these videos, we're going to spend most of our time over there on the Western Front. So, hope you understood all of those declarations of war. It kind of got crazy. Hope you understand that it's mainly the bad guys doing most of the declaring of war. And tomorrow we will get started on some of the actual battles. So we will see you tomorrow. Please make sure we're keeping up with these videos and not falling too far behind. And I hope all this is making sense. If anything doesn't make sense, please shoot me an email or make a comment on eClass, and I would be glad to answer any questions you might have. All right, have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.